looking over the fence, across the yard, into your life.
Dani, first, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I have to ask you, what part of the country are you in? Because I want to know how you're holding up throughout this new world with COVID-19. How are you doing?
You know what's crazy is that what part of this world actually plays a part. And I am staring at the snow falling intensely out of my window in Kimberley, BC.
You know what? I've seen newscasts talking about this. When did the snow hit?
So yesterday it snowed a wee bit. Like when we woke up, there was snow on the porch. But I am staring at like snow right now. The ground is white. But I mean, you know, granted, I live very high up in the mountains, so I think that's probably plays a part as to why I have so much snow. So fortunately, we are blessed. We are, I want to knock on wood and say, fairly unaffected by the pandemic as a town. But I mean, you know, I am a musician, so I'm devastated by it as well.
I was going to ask about that too. How is this whole thing? I mean, I've talked to so many musicians in the last 5 to 6 months, and how it has affected their careers. How has it affected yours?
Yeah, I mean, like it really, it impacted all of us. But first of all, I am a 100% independent artist, and I'm pretty loud and proud about that. And this is an album release year, obviously. So the record comes out October 23rd, but I had an entire tour planned around an earlier release that was supposed to start March 23rd, Halifax to Vancouver. And that got canceled the day after my first single from the record came out on March 14th. So.
Oh my goodness. Believe me, I feel for you and everybody else in this industry. We're all feeling it in so many different ways. But, you know, I've been interested in getting comments too, and with musicians and everybody I've been talking to about their thoughts on racism being spoken in a whole different manner as we speak. The things that we're seeing in the U.S. with the presidential voting and debates and, you know, not wearing a mask, wearing a mask. I mean, it's a crazy world. What do you think about all this?
Ah, man, you know, it's crazy. I mean, as far as America goes, I just try and stay out of it. But, like, as far as the presidency goes, but as far as the racism goes, I mean, as a musician, all of my influences and leaders have been Black. And I mean, I'm jazz. Like, jazz was what I went to university for. And I mean, not that it was just jazz. I mean, there's many Black leaders in the country music genre as well. But you know, I have to say, it's impacted me massively. I mean, I'm not in any particular position to be severely impacted by it, but you know, I learned a lot. Because I used to think, and maybe lots of people feel this way, but, you know, being a white person, a white musician, I always stayed out of it because I felt like I didn't have the right to speak, if that makes any sense. And this might make me sound like a total jerk, but no. I used to keep my mouth shut because I was like, well, I can't say anything because who am I? Who am I to have a voice here? And then that's when things changed, when the Black Lives Matter movement really started to get loud, and then people started asking us to use our voice and to use our quote unquote white privilege, and that's all I needed, because I feel really strongly about it. A lot of real dark days, I think, happened in the past 6 months. And it has impacted our family greatly. My husband's a musician as well, so we both, yeah.
It's definitely changed the world, but what's also helping to change the world are people like yourself and speaking out and putting out great music so that we have those moments where we can just sort of put things aside. So congratulations on this new music. And, you know, you kind of talked about the jazz stuff. What were your influences growing up musically? Because there are so many different influences that I've heard in your music.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that you asked that question. Now this is where, this is where I can shoot myself in the foot, or hopefully not, So just a little tiny backup is this record is called Undefined, and there is a major purpose behind that, in that I do consider myself a songwriter first. And as a songwriter first, it's so hard to just write in one genre. Like, what mood was I write all of my music by myself. So that is also something that's kind of odd in the country music genre. So I do write all of my songs solo, and so it just depends on how I'm feeling. And trust me, the songs I've written in the past 6 months aren't exactly super cheerful or whatever. But so my influences that come out when I was growing up, Sheryl Crow and Tom Petty were huge influences to me, which oddly enough today they're more country than they used to be. They were rock, but now country has morphed into this wonderful, beautiful world of multi-genres. But then when I started to really get into music, believe it or not, I was a trombone player.
Hey, let me stop you there. I played trombone for 10 years, so hey.
Yeah.
I even have a trombone pin that I wear on my suit from time to time when I do red carpets, so hallelujah to that.
And I literally got a scholarship to York University playing trombone.
Wow.
I loved it. And so brass was a huge part of my life, and big band music, and all of that stuff. We love, when I was in high school, I guess I was a nerd because all of our Friday and Saturday hangouts was jiving to big band dance music. So I was just 50 years behind. But so there's just so many influences in this record and in my life. But the bottom line is I consider myself a storyteller, and I hold an acoustic guitar, and I love the old school country music. I love the outlaw music that was just such rad storytelling. So it all literally comes into this record. We produced each song for the song versus the record, and I have never been so excited about something.
Well, here's the thing, though, too, and I hope people realize this, especially I would say in the last 6-7 years, when it comes to country music, there is no set rules anymore.
Not anymore.
Because, you hear artists, I'm just trying to think of his, he's going to kill me for forgetting his name. Anyway, you've heard artists who have combined country music and reggae music, country music with hip-hop music, country music with, there's so many different, versions now of country music. There is no set rules. So you sound like you've just followed along on your own and not even realizing that you are helping set the new rules without even knowing that you've done it.
Yeah, Rudy, it was me. I just set the new rules.
Let's jump in. I want to talk about the album, though.
Okay, good.
And how did this come about? And was this recorded before COVID or during? How did this all come about?
Oh man! So as I mentioned earlier, 100% independent artist. I'm married to a drummer who I think you might be affiliated with. You're affiliated with everybody, but he was in a band called The Salads for. Oh God,
yeah.
I knew that. Yeah, so Grant was the drummer for The Salads, and so he's done music forever, and he's been in this industry, and but two musicians marrying each other and trying to hold a mortgage isn't the easiest thing. So I'm only saying that because both of us live, sleep, eat, and breathe music. It's just, I tried to take a hiatus. It's not in my blood, not in my DNA, to keep a smile on my face. And so I did a Kickstarter, and my amazing fan base and loyal supporters made it very successful. So it was successful Kickstarter combined with another home equity loan. And then, because we like to do things proper. So, we went to Noble Street Studios in Toronto, and we recorded. It's been recorded over 3 years, because definitely a piece by piece, but the final recordings were done, believe it or not, in February of 2020, right before pandemic.
Wow. Okay, I got to jump in. So here you
Yeah.
are, a 3-year project of your life where literally you are like, if you could mortgage your liver, you would have done that to make this album happen.
Yeah.
And then, boom, the biggest, whatever you want to call it, to happen around the world kicks in for this album. What are you feeling?
Yeah, literally. So I am positive to a fault. It's how people probably know me, and it was dark. It was like, I get emotional talking about it because I try to be careful because, you know, my problems are small potatoes to others. I know this, but they felt big. And outside of building this record for 3 years, I had also been building that tour I told you about. Like, I booked it myself. I literally quit my job in December to finish booking the tour. So I literally quit and booked the tour until February. I was booking it for myself and a co-headliner, Mallory Johnson, and did it all by myself. And I was so proud of the work. I was so proud that I just put together this record, and I put together this literally coast to coast radio tour, and to go along with my new single. And the single came out on March 13th, and through tears, I hit the cancellation button on the 14th.
Wow.
And it was hard. Like, it was, I mean, still, you know, I said we're all in the same boat, and so there's nothing we can do. I could whine about it, or I could press on. I don't know. So waited a while and then decided, you know what, I'm putting out this record. So much went into it. I have to do it. So it's coming out, and I'm excited, and I'm very excited.
Okay, you already mentioned the name, but we're going to throw it out again for folks who listen to this whole interview. What's the new album called, and how does the album represent your life right now?
So the record is called Undefined, and I think that represents me as a songwriter. And I go from typical Dani, happy, goofy, almost Casey Musgrave inspired songs, but right to some of, you know, a lot of people know me for my really deep soul searching songs. There's one song in particular called She Sings that I'm very excited for, and it touches on everything you asked me about in the beginning of this conversation with politics and racism and you know, feminism and all that. And I'm just really proud of everything but that one. I'm excited for. I don't know. Like I said, this one it just exists, and the main thing about this record is that each song is really its own story on it. It's not an album that is a story. It's each song is a story, and it's good. It's available for pre-order right now.
That's amazing. And before I forget, it was Dean Brody I was thinking of doing the reggae.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the latest single release right now? What's that about? So
Mrs. Jones' Evelyn is called Mrs. Jones Evelyn because I went into the studio. This was one of the February recordings, and I went to record a song I had written a while ago while I was on my first radio tour, and it was called Mrs. Jones. And that is one of the silly, happy, whatever, just typical, like I was being goofy in all the lyrics and clever. And it was called Mrs. Jones, and it was all about, you know, all these keeping up with the Kardashians and keeping up with the Joneses, if you will, and me not giving a flying fig to want to do that. And so I'm like making fun of this Mrs. Jones. And so we went into the studio, and I had my whole band there, and one of my backup singers / fellow songwriter, Gina, said to me, you know, I always thought this was a really sad song, the story. She goes, I felt bad for her. And then I started thinking about it. I said, oh, it is sad. And literally in the studio, I looked at my guitar player. I was like, okay, let's try it like this. Let's vibe it out. We slowed it down and loved it. And then I tried to sing my silly lyrics over top of it, which obviously didn't work because I'm literally saying stuff like, hey there, Mrs. Jones, what's that you're dragging? Is that a purse the size of Earth on your arm? So it didn't go with the vibe. And I was like, this is a complete rewrite. And I literally rewrote the song right there. that morning, and we recorded it, and it, lo and behold, ended up being this beautiful, empathetic view of Mrs. Jones.
Well, hey there, Mrs. Jones, what's that you're dragging? A giant purse defines your worth in your mind. And older as you grow, throwing glitter on the ghost of a dimpled smile, little child lost in time.
And so we recorded both. So now I have Mrs. Jones Evelyn and Mrs. Jones Becky. But to my shock and surprise, Mrs. Jones Evelyn won Best Country Song at the Independent Music Awards in New York this year in April.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was my long-winded story.
That's not long-winded, because here's the thing. Here we are talking about all these, 3-year odyssey, and where did it lead to? An award. There you go, the pat on the back going. You kept it through, and you talked about all this positivity going through. This is where positivity can get to the promised land, as I like to call it. Speaking of the promised land, too, will you be doing any virtual performances, do you think?
Yeah, lots of them. Too many of them, Rudy. Too many.
Nice.
I've done lots, and I will continue to do them, but come on. I'm sure that you've done so many yourself. It's like, it never compares. I can't wait to get out there live. I'm just so sick of the audio on these virtual things.
I know people have said, you know what, even with the drive-ins, it's still not the same.
It's
thing.
hard.
That energy is spread out there. So, but in the meantime, though, what is going to be happening with you other than virtual? Are you going to be doing any more interviews? Do you have any plans? And do you even have plans for maybe as we speak? Because we are talking about October. Will there be any Christmas music coming out soon from you?
Well, I actually love Santa Claus more than life itself, so no Christmas music from me this year, but I have half of an actual Christmas album written. So I'm hoping 2021 for that one. We'll see. But I'm actually planning on getting out, and I was in the middle of planning a really small tour. And by small, I mean the rooms being small. So I was planning these really small rooms. I'm really fortunate again and blessed as being able to take my piano and take my guitar and just play by myself. Like, I do feel bad for the musicians that really are just, musicians that are just getting hit a little bit harder than somebody that can go out on tour with their guitar. But yeah, so I was planning on that out here. It's still a possibility. There's actually shows happening in my town, but it looks like Ontario's just shut down to make that not possible again. So it's the waiting game. It's virtual. I do my virtual bathroom sessions, and people can join me, and we have fun.
Let's just hope Ontarians can get it and keep their masks on and do what's needed, because, as I said, you know what, this should not have had to happen. We were doing so well, and then people just got greedy, I guess. So, but in the meantime, social media, place to go to follow you. Where do we go to follow you?
Yeah, you can find me pretty much across the board. It is Dani, Dani, Strong Muscles, like strong muscles. Dani Strong Music is where you can find me, and I am pretty interactive and very happy to chat with people anywhere they find me.
Dani, thank you so much for this interview. Oh, my goodness, it was so much fun. And congratulations on the music. Please say hello to your husband for me.
I will.
And cross fingers that maybe sometime in 2021 we can talk in person on a new album. We can talk about what happened this year, and also we can talk about Christmas music too.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for all you do. It was an honor to finally get on your show, so thank you.
No, thank you so much. Be safe. Throw snowballs. You do whatever you guys do down there. And just be safe. Thank you again.
Take care. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.